Welcome into another edition of the Blue Coats Beat on DETV, an inside look at the Delaware Blue Coats both on the court and in the community with special guests throughout the year as well. The Blue Coats, of course, the NBA G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm Matt Murphy along with my partner, Blue Coats ambassador of basketball, Joe Richmond, and the guest today, it's a good one, Trevor Cooney of BPG Sports and 76ers Fieldhouse, a Delaware native and a two-time Final Four participant at Syracuse University. Trev, it's great to have you. And Joe, we will get to Trevor in a moment, but it's the time of year and the time of the show, as the fans out there have come to know. We like to talk about Coats in the community, so there's plenty to talk about there with what we've got coming up, especially ahead of Martin Luther King Day coming up. The Blue Coats have a game that day, a 1 o'clock game against the South Bay Lakers. More on that towards the back end of the show, but I could just run it down, to be honest. I mean, the team's playing well, 13-9 on the court, but in the community, plenty coming up with Martin Luther King Day approaching. Books and basketball, the program we talk about so much on this show, going to Kumba Academy. And what else do we have this week? The 2 more events after that.
Well, we're going to definitely be doing a great thing with Born for Brothers with my man Jermaine Smith on Friday, and that's going to be at McKean High School. And then we're going to go right up the street a little bit to Elkton and do a nice Martin Luther King basketball clinic as well with them. And shout out to the one and only Dr. Martin Luther King, because today is his official birthday here, Wednesday, January 15th.
Recording this on Wednesday, and of course the NBA does a great job with all of their initiatives and campaigns throughout the year. Martin Luther King Day, another one of those. You'll see more hashtags coming up, hashtag MLK Day, hashtag NBA Voices. Certainly we'll be following along with those hashtags and posting with the Blue Coats events in the community as well. What excites you, Joe, about these upcoming events?
Well, it gives us an opportunity to engage. And, you know, Martin Luther King was all about inspiring and doing some great things. And we get to hear from some of the young people as well as those individuals that are actually putting the events on. And it's just a different vibe this time of year with Martin Luther King. And, you know, so many great things going on in the community. But there's just a lot of different things that are going on in the world. And this type of year, it kind of brings everybody in one mind, one focus, that we have to be coming together as humanity and be there for one another. And I think this is one of the best times of the year. And not only for, I believe, us as an organization and the NBA and the players, just for us as people, just to say, hey, we can do better and we can be there for each other a lot better than before.
And quickly, before we bring Trevor in, another thing in the community that we have to bring up, and it deserves more time than this, but last week we had the pleasure of going to NBC Sports Philadelphia's March of Dimes event fundraiser. And Joe actually himself had the honor of filling in for Kyle O'Quinn of the 76ers because the Sixers were taking on the Celtics that night. The honor of presenting and bringing up Mekhi Gindraw, up to the stage, and you had the honor of presenting him and to the crowd there. And what was that event like for you?
You know, as you was there, Cody was there, Aris Watson, our community engagement liaison was there, and my man Joe Kane. It was just amazing. Phillies, Eagles, Philadelphia Union, and this young man, he was a micro-preemie. Maybe the first year or so of his life, he had surgeries and all these different things. And here was this 10-year-old young kid with so much energy. You wouldn't even tell he went through like he had a Band-Aid ever. So it was just an amazing night. It was a great opportunity, and that's what I love. What we do is so much to see that young kid smile and his family with all the support and everything, and see how strong they were there for him, as well as those other 5 presenters that were just amazing.
All the local teams involved. A great job by you, Joe. A great job by Kyle O'Quinn, the Sixers Strong Foundation, and all of that. But the moment everyone's been waiting for with Trevor Cooney on the show today. I mentioned he is a local guy, so let's start there. Trev, give us the brief background of your connection to Delaware and your upbringing in the state of Delaware.
Yeah, absolutely. Born and raised in Delaware. Grew up right in Wilmington. Went to Sanford High School. But yeah, no, just born and raised here. Absolutely love Delaware. Love what you guys are doing in the community. So continue the great work there.
And I mentioned you're a part of the crew over at BPG Sports at 76ers Fieldhouse, the home of the Blue Coats. 76ers Fieldhouse, the second year that the team has been in the building, moved in last year. So everyone's really excited about it. It's still an all-new building that gets the people going every single time the Blue Coats step into it. So for you, what makes 76ers Fieldhouse special?
I think just a community. I mean, we're on that topic, and it does a great thing. It's within city limits. It's a brand new thing to this area. There's never been an arena that can hold that many people for a professional basketball game, high school games, plus concerts, and other events that go on. So, I mean, it's something that's brand new to this community, and we're trying to do a lot with it, really.
And Joe, I probably asked you this earlier in the shows that we've done already, but what makes the Fieldhouse special to you?
It is exactly what he said. We've been here, I know we've been here 20 plus years now. And for us to call something home, for us to have a professional team, for us to see some local players that have been on the team, maybe came through and things of that nature. But again, I think it inspires to see that monument. That's what it looks like sitting off at 13. It's just, and at night it's so beautiful. So I just love everything about it. And you know, as you do, you're there 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. It's a hard place to leave.
Right. It certainly is. And Trevor mentions the community, and there's not only Bluecoats games and high school games and various sports taking place at the Fieldhouse, but there's also camps and things like that as well. Trevor has his team 10 camps. Dante DiVincenzo, a local guy as well from the Milwaukee Bucks, was here this past summer doing his camp. So what kind of opportunity does it present in terms of camps and training and things like that for not only you and Dante, but just anybody who can bring the community in that form as well?
I mean, it just gives a place for kids to go and feel safe and grow and really get better. The Fieldhouse is so special because it really is a full circle building. I mean, on the courts or the turf side in there, we have leagues, we have programs, camps.
Yes.
We have Titus Sports Academy in there. So, I mean, if you want to get faster, stronger, become a better athlete, you can go there. And then, God forbid, if you do get hurt, we have Nemours Sport Medicine in there as well that will get you back on the field or court. And then get you right back into our programs or right back into Titus training again. And there's not a lot of buildings like that in this area or in the country, really, to where kids can really come up, start young and grow up and kind of learn sports, life lessons, and kind of grow as a person.
But can I just piggyback because we have a local person right there now that's training. Has a great league, which is the Czech Rock League.
Yep, absolutely.
It's the Czech Rock League, but he's also in there with you guys training, giving some of them youth, was doing great things out of the Boys and Fletcher Brown Boys and Girls Club. But now these is those kids an opportunity to see it at the more advanced level, the pro level, because Czech and Fletcher Brown, that's a smaller court. Now these kids see what 94 feet really looks like. So talk about what Lamar is doing.
Yeah, that is Lamar Mason.
Yeah.
He is a community guy, born and raised in Wilmington, and he's a guy that when I came back from Syracuse or overseas, I would work out with him. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and he does a lot of great things with kids. He gives back almost every single day.
Yes.
And then to add him to our team at the Fieldhouse was great, just to have another Wilmington guy and a local guy that kids look up to and respect.
Yes.
And he's done a great job just bringing kids into the Fieldhouse, helping me with my programs, and just kind of adding more to it.
Yes.
Side note, the other day I was shooting around after work at the Fieldhouse, and I just pulled up from half court, and there was a few people walking around. Mar was the only one who saw me drain a half court shot. I looked around. He was looking at me. He gave me the nod. So we have that connection from this recent connection at least. But we're going to get to, I think, what a lot of people want to hear about as well, Trevor's basketball journey, his own basketball journey as well. And that includes a stop in the NBA G League. So now you see the Bluecoats players, Trevor, playing at 76ers Fieldhouse. What do you think a facility like this does for players at that stage of their career and a team like the Bluecoats in the G League?
Yeah, when I was in there 2 years ago, it was still the D League at the time. I was with the Long Island Nets for a couple months, and the league is so talented, and there's so many good guys in this league. So to be a part of it and experience the league was awesome. But to have the Delaware Bluecoats now in this awesome facility, it really is one of the best facilities in the country.
It's great for them to have everything in one place. We talk about it a lot, the ability to get treatment, practice, and play in under the same roof. Yeah,
and it really is, and it's a spot that can hold a lot of fans as well, and it's a spot that it just sounds good, it looks good inside, and it can get really loud when we get our fans in there.
Joe, I want you to come in about Trev's overseas career a little bit in a second, but in terms of the G League, Trevor, what did that represent, the G League, in your basketball journey, and what changes have you seen in the league over the years?
Adding the two-way player, I think, has been huge for the league, especially with teams that are close to the NBA team, kind of like we are here. I mean, Wilmington to Philly is really only like 45 minutes. So I think it gives Sixers fans in this area a chance to go and watch these young guys grow and compete here, and then the next day you see them on TV playing with the Sixers. So I think it just adds a little bit of a bigger connection to the fans of this area.
And Trevor also had stops in Spain and Germany as well. And
Whoa.
Joe, Richmond basketball has taken him all around the globe, and certainly some interesting perspective to be gained from playing overseas.
Is nothing like it, because here is all about our athleticism and these type of things, and we jump out the gym. But once you get over to Europe, it's more about more fundamentals, more detailed, more team oriented. Yeah, they do have that local star, but once they add those Americans in, it really allows them to really take to another level, and it also helps them marketing wise as marketing, because a lot of the NBA teams still go over. You talk about G League now going to Mexico and things of that nature. So it's just opening up so much, and by us even having Shayok, we talked about it in Canada. It's just something different, and I love Germany. And I know you do as well when you was over there. It's so Americanized, I like to say, and I know with social media, it's even more Americanized now than when I was over there.
You mentioned 76ers two-way contract player Marial Shayok, still scoring the ball well. The team, as we record this on Wednesday, 13-9, as I mentioned at the top of the show. And we'll run down the upcoming games at 76ers Fieldhouse in just a minute. But got to bring up Syracuse. Trevor Cooney, I mentioned, a two-time Final Four participant at Syracuse, over 1,000 points in your career. So let's just go there. What are some of your finer memories, or fonder memories, I should say, from your time as a player at Syracuse?
I was really fortunate enough to be a part of some great teams there. When I got there, we were still in the Big East, so I got to experience the old Big East, which was amazing, and then the transition into the ACC. So to be a part of both of those conferences, I mean, it was. I mean, you go to the who's on their weight games, and you got to play the Dukes and the Georgetowns and the Villanovas. So, I mean, my college experience was awesome. It really was.
Who was the best player you played against, or maybe the most memorable game from your career that sticks out?
Don't forget social media. They go over here. This.
There was definitely a lot. I think beating Duke at home,
that'll do it.
Overtime. I think that was a team on the Duke side that made a run that year. I mean, they had Rodney Hood, Okafor, Quinn Cook.
Wow.
I mean, and then we had like 35,000 people at that game. So I mean, that was definitely a special game to win that one. I think that was our first time beating Duke as well. So was really special.
That's awesome. And Joe, I do want to transition the last segment, so to speak, on the Blue Coats beat here on DETV into some sort of at the buzzer segment where it's a consistent question or two that we ask every guest. And maybe we can theme it like we did with Coach Fox in last week's episode, where it was about the upcoming theme night for the Blue Coats game, which was Superheroes and Villains Night. But MLK Day celebration is the next home game. I know you wanted to theme this week's question around that and how the NBA uses the messages associated with that holiday in the upcoming week.
And all I would like to do is to give you guys an opportunity is to find out, like we said, Dr. Martin Luther King was just an amazing man. And a lot of his values, a lot of his wisdom still is used today in management courses and leadership courses. A lot of the things that he taught and he was about is utilized today. And for you, Matt, what does it mean for you when you think about Martin Luther King and all that he's done and where we are today?
I think a lot of it goes back to that hashtag, the NBA Voices hashtag, where giving everyone a voice, that inclusion and things like that, everybody can play, everybody can be involved. And I think that's what you're going to see in these events in the community when the Blue Coats are out there, or any NBA G League team or NBA team, getting everybody involved. Basketball is for everyone, and just that inclusion aspect of it.
And to our special guest, you played for the great Jim Boeheim. You've played with a lot of great players. You've been all over. College allows you to interact with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. And how does what Martin Luther King talked about us all coming together, how does that transition to you, for especially now where you're at with the Fieldhouse and the community that definitely right now needs us all to come together?
No, just piggyback off what you guys said. I mean, it gives everyone a voice, equality, gives everyone a chance. And I think it just ties everything together. And I think it's great to honor, and it's great to do community things around it, really.
That's going to do it, guys. That's about as much time as we have for today. Trevor, thanks so much for giving us your time.
Thank you, guys.
That's Trevor Cooney of BPG Sports and 76ers Fieldhouse. And Joe, the next game this coming Monday, January 20th, 1 p.m. at 76ers Fieldhouse, the Blue Coats MLK Day celebration game against the first Western Conference opponent not at the G League Showcase for the Bluecoats this year, the Lakers, the South Bay Lakers. So a pretty cool opponent as well. And that'll be presented by 99.5 WJBR, Sixers.com/Bluecoats for tickets. Should be a great afternoon of basketball.
It's gonna be fun.
And that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Bluecoats Beat. For Trevor Cooney and my partner, Ambassador of Basketball Joe Richmond, and our entire DETV crew, including Ivan Thomas, I'm Matt Murphy, and we will talk to you next time on the Bluecoats Beat here on DETV.